Well, if you're a gun voter on the north side of Casper or north to the Johnson County line, you have a choice to make in the upcoming Republican Party primary. Representative Bill Allemand or challenger Tom Jones. Who's going to fight for your gun rights in the Wyoming House? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Doyer with Wyoming Gun Owners. The August 20 primary is coming very fast now, and in House District 58, we're being asked about this matchup between Representative Bill Allemand and his challenger, Tom Jones. This is the north side of Casper. It's bar none, everything north up to the Johnson County line. The question you're asking us is pretty simple. Everyone says they're pro-gun at election time. Everyone campaigns on the Second Amendment when it matters to them. And so many times what we see in Cheyenne is they get down there and they vote against our gun rights, or they vote to sabotage our gun rights or weaken our gun rights, either in committee or on the floor. So the question you're asking us this cycle is, how do we know who we can trust? Who can we actually count on? Guys, in this video, we're going to combine the results of our candidate survey program, voting histories, and public statements made or not made by the candidates to give you a snapshot on how these two candidates might vote going forward on your gun rights. We can't tell you who to vote for. We will give you guys the information you have to have, though, to make a more informed decision. And I'm going to begin with Tom Jones. The good news about Tom is that he has surveyed with Wyoming gun owners. I want to be clear on this. There's different levels of survey responses. He has promised to co-sponsor pro-gun bills, and that's good. It's different than sponsoring pro-gun bills. More on that in a few minutes. But again, Tom Jones has surveyed with Wyoming gun owners. The question you have to ask then is after, because WYGO's done this now for so many years in a row, a lot of candidates who do not support gun rights know they have to survey in a primary to avoid getting hit by gun voters. And by hit, I mean voted against for the humor impaired watching this video. And so the question is the survey legitimate, or is it being done by somebody to avoid being politically, attacked for being weak on the Second Amendment? We can't always answer that question. In the case of Tom Jones, we do wonder, is his survey credible? We went to his website, for example, to look for more information about his stance on the Second Amendment. Went to his website, and there's not a single mention of gun rights or the Second Amendment on his website at all. Now, maybe when this video goes live, maybe that changes, but as of right now, our research team found zero references to gun rights on Tom Jones' website, and the same thing for all of his social media platforms. So for us, when a candidate is usually loud and proud about gun rights, it spills over on social media, on their website, yes, on a candidate survey. And to have a candidate who surveys but will not mention guns in any capacity online, it's a question mark for us. And we can't answer that question for you, but it's definitely worthy of your consideration. Is that survey credible? I'll jump over to Bill Allemand. I'm going to come back to Tom Jones in a few minutes. Bill Allmand's been in the Capitol now just for the last 2 years, but in that time, Bill has become a leader in the fight for gun rights here in Wyoming. In this cycle, he has surveyed 100% pro-gun with Wyoming gun owners. And again, what that means is not just that he will vote pro-gun, but Bill has pledged in writing to sponsor pro-gun bills, to lead in the fight for gun rights. You can see Bill's survey and Tom's survey right now on our website. You can see all of our survey responses right now on the website. So Bill has surveyed pro-gun. But more important to us than a candidate survey, more important than written promises and what they will do in the future, is what has a person already done? What are their actual deeds, their actions under fire, under the gun, under pressure in Cheyenne? And when it comes to Bill, even though he only has 2 years in Cheyenne, the list is a distinguished one. This session, we passed Senate File 109. This was WYGO's bill to ban red flag gun seizures forever here in Wyoming. The idea that someone could call up the cops and say, you could be dangerous, and the cops go and ask a judge for a seizure order when you've never even been charged with a crime, the idea of that happening is terrible. And here in Wyoming, it cannot happen ever because we passed Senate File 109 this year. And Bill Allemand was right there the entire time, leading that fight, co-sponsoring the bill, and fighting for it on the floor. You see, the final vote is usually pretty simple. The question is, what happens on the floor? Is the bill weakened? Is it improved? What kind of bad amendments are added to the bill? The fighting takes place prior to the final vote. And Bill Allemand fought like hell for SF 109 this session. We're very pleased to acknowledge that. And I want to get more specific on that because the rhinos hated, and I mean hated, Senate File 109, particularly Bob Nicholas, who was probably the biggest, tied for biggest rhino right now in the House. And so Bob ran 4 amendments on SF 109 that were designed to gut the bill. I'll briefly summarize them. The first one said that SF 109, which again bans red flag gun seizures, does not apply to federal gun control or federal red flag gun seizures. I don't know about you, but that's half the reason for the bill in the first place is federal red flag gun seizures under President Biden or, God forbid, President Kamala Harris. We do not want our cops enforcing federal red flag laws. The amendment was number H3003. It was a terrible amendment. Bill Allemand spoke on the floor against the amendment and was a no vote. The same for Amendment 3004. This would exempt all judicial red flag laws from SF 109. That's an amendment to kill the bill, to gut the bill. If that amendment passed, anytime a judge signs a seizure order, they'd have to be enforced in Wyoming. Allemand, again, was a no vote on that. That was amendment number H3004. The next one, H3005, said that, okay, we're going to have SF 109, but cities are immune from having to abide by it or obey it. Again, an amendment designed to gut the bill. Allemand was a hell no. And finally, Amendment 3006 would delete the penalty section out of the bill. You see, the way we pass this law, if a jurisdiction violates SF 109 and they go and enforce a red flag law against you, you can drag that agency into civil court for damages. It gives real teeth to this law. It's the first of its kind in America. We're very happy about it. And this amendment would have gutted the civil penalty section altogether and allowed jurisdictions to flagrantly violate the law, giving you absolutely no recourse. And again, Allemand was there on the floor fighting against the amendment. So, and to recap, 100% on SF 109, and he opposed all of the gun control amendments that his own party brought onto the bill. Very strong stuff. He also is a leader this year in the fight for House Bill 125. HB 125, as you probably know, was the bill to repeal deadly gun-free zones all across the state. Hard to believe. We got a bunch of them. UW, all their associated properties across the state, their satellite locations, the state capitol. There's lots of places where guns are off limits to law-abiding citizens. HB 125 would deal with all of that. It would fix that problem. Bill was there, voted yes, on the floor, involved in that fight. And then, as you all know, Governor Gordon breaks his own campaign promise and he vetoes that bill after it got to his desk. And then we had the final battle of this session here in Cheyenne because the only way to override a governor's veto is if they're actually in session, right? And we were adjourned already for the year. And so the fight came down to calling for a special session to reconvene in Cheyenne to override Governor Gordon's veto. And that's where we separated the men from the boys. And so in that case, Bill Allemand was a yes vote on calling for a special session. A lot of Republicans did not have the guts to do it because that might make Governor Gordon angry at us, pathetic. But Bill Allemand was a strong yes vote in calling for a special session. So guys, a lot of detail here, but it's important for you guys, I think, to have the backstory, not just the headlines on how a guy or gal acts in Cheyenne when it comes to our gun rights. So Bill Allemand, 100% on survey, fought like hell for SF 109, opposed all the harmful amendments. He fought for HB 125. He fought for a special session, 100% pro-gun. That's the story behind Bill Allemand. If you see him, thank him for all of his strong support. If you see Tom Jones, I would thank him for his survey, but I want to know, why don't you mention guns on your website? Why is it mentioned on social media? Do you really care about the Second Amendment? Because if you do, normally it's part of the front and center of most campaigns here in Wyoming. And see what he has to say. Last thing I noticed on Tom's website, I couldn't help but mention this. He said he's trail ready. Trail ready. and we all know what he's getting at there. And that's good to hear. But what I would say is that when it comes to gun rights, while Tom Jones says he is trail ready, Bill Allman's been blazing that trail for 2 years in a row already in Cheyenne, and he's a long ways down the trail between him and Tom Jones. Guys, that's our recap in this race. Do me a favor, share it on social media. You can find this on YouTube, our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our website. Wherever you're seeing this, share it on your own social media platforms. Tag your friends in the comment section. Make sure folks have the facts on these two candidates. Finally, get involved today at joinwygo.com.